Hello besties, welcome to or welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to Bookmas Day. Oh my gosh, what day of Bookmas is this? Bookmas Day 3. Today I have a video that I am personally really excited for because I am going to be talking about the top 20 book releases in the first half of 2026 that I am most excited for. Now, there are a ton of books coming out in 2026. I'm sure there's some more that haven't even been announced yet, but these are just the ones that I am going to be on the lookout for. So let's just get started on going through these 20 books. Little face cam me incoming. Okay, so I just made a cutesy little slideshow to go through of all of these books for you, and I do have them like in chronological order, so we actually are going to be starting at the end of December, literally like the second to last day of December, so I apologize, there is one book in 2025 that I included on this list, but the rest of them go through June 2026. So right here we have In Your Dreams by Sarah Adams. Now this is a contemporary romance and it is part of the like When in Rome interconnected standalone little small town romance series. I really loved When in Rome, but then the next two books after that, what are they called? One of them is Beg, Borrow, Steal, and then Practice Makes Perfect. I think I gave Practice Makes Perfect 3 stars, and then I gave Beg, Borrow, Steal 2 stars. So I'm really hoping that In Your Dreams goes better for me because I love When in Rome. Like, When in Rome is a 5-star romance read for me. This cover is so beautiful. I have this little summary here if you want to read through it. But basically, Madison, I'm pretty sure she's the youngest of the siblings that we see in this series. She leaves town and she goes to New York, I'm pretty sure, for culinary arts. But then she ends up having to come back home and she gets this new job as the head chef at a restaurant. But the owner of it is her brother's best friend, so that's like supposed to be off limits. I think this one sounds really cute. I love the whole like restaurant and chef, just that whole vibe. I feel like I like reading culinary books almost because I really like cooking and baking myself. That one comes out December 30th. Let's go on to the next. Ooh, this one comes out January 13th, Anatomy of an Alibi, and this is a mystery thriller. This is by the same author of First Lie Wins, and that came out, I want to say like about 2 years ago. And I really liked that book. I remember just being like blown away. The plot twist got me. So this one, the female main character, Camille, she believes that her perfect husband is hiding something. So then Aubrey and Camille team up and they have like 12 hours to figure out like what's going on. But then Camille's husband ends up dead. Yeah. So obviously these women need an alibi for each other, and that's why it is called Anatomy of an Alibi. I'm really excited for this. I don't read mystery thrillers too often. I maybe read like one a month. So I love having new mystery thrillers on my radar, and I know that I like this author's other book. So I'm really hoping that I like this one as well. We have another mystery thriller coming out January 20th. This is Alice Feeney, My Husband's Wife. How many Alice Feeney books have I read now? Like 3 or 4, I want to say, and I enjoy them. She reminds me a little bit of Frida McFadden, just in that her books are like so fast-paced and easy to read. I do think they are maybe like a little bit more advanced. Like Frida McFadden books are definitely a little bit sillier. So Alice Feeney is like more evolved in that way, I guess. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. Frida McFadden has a blurb. Non-stop thrills, the best Feeney book yet? Ooh, okay. Also, one thing like me and my friend have pointed out about Alice Feeney books, because I think we've buddy read like the 3 or 4 that I've read with her, and we're like, always it is a couple in an unhappy marriage. So we're like, is Alice Feeney herself like in an unhappy marriage? And like, are these books a cry for help? And now this one's My Husband's Wife. So when this was announced, we were like, Alice, honey, is everything okay at home? Because kind of weird. Like, where is she getting all this inspiration from? Is it from herself? I don't know. I won't speculate anymore though. One is about an artist. She returns from a run to find her key doesn't work to her house. A woman who looks like her is living in her home and her husband insists the stranger is his real wife. 6 months earlier, Bertie, a reclusive Londoner reeling from a life-changing diagnosis, inherits the same house, Spyglass, and moves to the seaside village of Hope Falls. A mysterious clinic claiming to predict a person's death date sends her spiraling into secrets and old wrongs. That's the thing, like, Alice Feeney books will always mess with your head a little bit. I read Beautiful Ugly I'm pretty sure it was last January, maybe last December, and that was insane. I finished that book and I just had to like stare at the wall because literally what did I just read? So I love a good mystery thriller like that. I'm really hoping this one's like has good plot twists because a few of the Alice Feeney books that I've read are pretty predictable. So we'll see. I'm still excited for this either way. I love how I said, like, I don't read mystery thrillers that much, and now I have 3 mystery thriller books in a row, and I feel like they always come out in the winter, like in January, which I get it. I like cozying up with a mystery thriller in the winter because I don't leave my house that much in the winter. Well, I don't leave my house that much already, but like especially in the winter, living in Minnesota, because it's either freezing or you're snowed in. So like either your car is dead, the battery's dead, or you're stuck in a snowbank. Those are the 2 options. Frida McFadden has just been cranking out books, so we have another one from her, Dear Debbie. This one is about Debbie Mullen. Shocker. She's a longtime author of the Dear Debbie advice column and has spent years helping women ignored or mistreated by their husbands. But now her own life is unraveling. She's lost her job, her daughters are acting strange, and her husband is hiding something she's tracked on his phone. Fed up with being responsible, Debbie decides it's time to follow her own advice and get revenge on the people who deserve it most. Yeah, this sounds very crazy. I love a good Frida McFadden book as like a palate cleanser. They're usually all on Kindle Unlimited, so that's super nice as well. Like if I don't know what to read, I will just go download a Frida McFadden book because there's always one that I have not read. She has so many books. So I can just count on Frida McFadden for a good time. Even if it's kind of silly, like I'm still having a good time with it. Okay, finally getting out of mystery thriller a little bit. We have a magical realism / fantasy coming out January 27th. This is The Unwritten Rules of Magic by Harper Ross. I was immediately drawn to this cover. I don't know if Harper Ross has any other books. I haven't read any other books by her. But this one says, Emerson Clark has never felt in control. An absent father with Alzheimer's, a distant mother, and now a teenage daughter shutting her out. The only place she's ever held power is as a ghostwriter. But after her father's wake, she discovers his old typewriter can make whatever she writes come true. As Emerson begins rewriting her life, her wishes bring unintended consequences and reveal long-hidden family secrets. When her daughter's secret surfaces, Emerson must choose between forcing a perfect future or accepting the risks of a life she can't script. That sounds so fun, and ever since I read Divine Rivals, I love anything that has to do with a typewriter. Like, it gives me Tortured Poets Department vibes. What can I say? We are jumping to February 24th with this next one. This is And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. This is a contemporary romance, and it is book 2 in, what is it called? The Heartstrings little duology. First book is First Time Caller, and that one also came out, I want to say, last February. It's just a little interconnected standalone romance. This one is about radio host Jackson Clark and adventurous field reporter Delilah Stewart. They have always clashed, but when they're forced to team up to cover a historic snowstorm, they strike a deal. He'll help her prove herself as a journalist, and she'll help him loosen up. Their reluctant partnership turns into an unexpected friendship and something more. But as feelings grow, they must decide whether their mountain storm connection can survive the real world. I just think this sounds like a really sweet romance. I have read 3 other B.K. Borison books now. I read Lovelight Farms and honestly did not love it. I think I gave it like 2 stars, but I'm pretty sure that was B.K. Borison's first book. And then since that, I have read First Time Caller and now Good Spirits, and her writing has just developed so beautifully. I gave both of those 4 stars, so I loved those. So I'm really hoping to love this one as well. And obviously it's very fitting, the snowstorm for the winter time. It just is beautiful. This cover is beautiful. I love this cover even more than the First Time Caller cover, and that one I really liked, but this one, the colors are stunning. I love like her sweater. that sweater I want in real life. Very, very excited for another BK Borison romance. Ooh, this might ruffle some feathers. I don't know. There's been a lot of discourse about Just Friends by Haley Pham because there was that very, very harsh, I don't even know if I'm gonna say review, because it was basically just that person tearing down Haley Pham and this book, and there was like no constructive criticism really. It was literally I don't want to get too much into this, but I myself am very excited for this book. It comes out March 3rd, and this is Haley Pham's debut. I just am so excited for this because I have been watching Haley Pham since I was probably like 14 or 15. I don't know exactly, somewhere around there though, and I'm now 22. So I watched Haley before she was ever like into reading. I was watching her during the girly pop days before she was ever even with Ryan. Like I was watching Haley Pham. So then when she started getting into reading around the same time I started getting into reading, I love her content now. I've always loved her content, but her book content is obviously my favorite, as I am also a book content creator. And I'm really excited for this because it's like a more sweet, closed door romance. I don't love super spicy romances. That's just a personal preference of mine. Ex-friends to lovers. And I think both of them, or maybe just one of them, has family issues, but they reconnect after things went terribly wrong in their friendship. I'm really, really excited for this. I also just like, me and my husband, before he was my husband, before we were ever dating, we were just friends. And we have kind of like a similar story. Like we were friends and then we went on a date and I decided to friend zone my husband. I don't know what was going through my head, but I did that. And then like a year later, he asked me to prom and then we started dating and now we're married. So it's like me friend zoning him kind of ruined our friendship too. I mean, we were still like friends, but he definitely was not as friendly with me anymore. And like, I get why. But we like are a second chance romance too. Second chance romance, friends to lovers, I love. So I'm very, very, very excited for this. We have another March 3rd. This is a dystopian romance, and I actually already have an arc of this one, so yeah. I'm very, very fortunate to be able to read it before March 3rd. But this is To Cage a Wild Bird, and in the city of Davidium, the law is simple. Commit a crime and your punishment is a life sentence in Enlock. Raven Thorn is Davidium's most notorious bounty hunter living on the edge of society, but when her younger brother Jed is sentenced to Enlock, Raven will do anything to save him, even if it means getting herself arrested. Now trapped in a prison where danger lurks around every corner, Raven must use all her cunning and strength to protect Jed, and herself if she is to complete the perilous mission. But there's one obstacle she never expected. The prison guard who stirs something deep inside her. The man she should hate. The man whose true motives seem impossible to pin down. In a world where trust is a weapon and love is a liability, Raven must decide if she will risk everything to tear down a vicious system. I have been loving dystopian books lately, so we don't get many of them. I think we're gonna start getting more in the next few years just because dystopian seems to be coming back around again. I'm very, very excited because I've always loved a good dystopian book since I was like 10, 11 years old. This release date, I am getting two different answers. This is No Matter What by Cara Bastone. This is her new contemporary romance, and Amazon and Goodreads give me different release dates. So this one either comes out March 3rd or March 17th. I'm sorry, I can't give you like a definitive answer because I literally can't find a definitive answer. Sometime in March. We'll just mark that on our calendars, okay? This is the same author as Ready or Not and Promise Me Sunshine. Promise Me Sunshine. I loved Ready or Not. I think that one came out almost 2 years ago. I think I gave it either 4 or 4.5 stars, and then Promise Me Sunshine came out last year, or I guess this year, earlier 2025, and that one I definitely didn't like as much. I gave that one like 3 or 3.5 stars. So hopefully this one I'll love as much as Ready or Not. This one is about Roz and Vin's marriage has been unraveling since a traumatic car accident and when Roz discovers Vin has signed a new lease, she braces for their separation. She throws herself into figure drawing class with Time and her best friend, who also happens to be Vin's brother. Despite the distance between them, Roz still finds Vin painfully kind and irresistible, so when he offers to model for her, she reluctantly agrees. Sketching her estranged husband, nude, forces them to truly see each other for the first time in a year. As Roz works to reclaim her art and confront the love she never lost, the two must decide whether they can heal together or finally let go. This one, I am scared to have my heart ripped out because, I don't know, anytime it is a book about marriage, I just like think of me and my own husband and like what we would do in these situations. I also love a good romance that starts with a couple already like together. Usually when you read a romance, it's two strangers or like friends falling in love and you have their whole like lead up to falling in love. But obviously when the couple is already together, they usually have to like work through something. And I just think that's really, really beautiful, especially like being married. I mean, I will say my marriage is pretty easy most of the time, but obviously in every relationship, like there's gonna be something that comes up that you have to work through together if you like want to stay together. So I'm very, very excited for this one. It kind of gives me the same vibes as Out of the Woods, which I read, I was gonna say last year again, but it was earlier this year. And I love that. That also started with like a couple already together and trying to like strengthen their marriage. Ooh, another dystopian romance. This one comes out March 24th. This is Beneath by Ariel Sullivan, and she is the author of Conform, which came out in September or October, I want to say. I read it in October and loved it. It is such a good dystopian. I definitely recommend it. And I think this one is a prequel to Conform, which like I am very, very impatiently waiting for the sequel to Conform because of that ending, the cliffhanger, but I am also excited for a prequel because there are definitely mentions of like another character and how they were brought up. I'm so excited. I think this one takes place like 100 years or a few hundred years before Conform though, so like I think as the society is building up, I'm so excited for this. Again, I wish a sequel was coming out as well, but I will take a prequel for now. That's fine. Another mystery thriller coming out April 7th. This is The Ending Writes Itself by Evelyn Clark. It's about Archer Fletch, one of the world's best-selling novelists, is a reclusive genius known for his iconic protagonist and fiendish twists. When 6 struggling authors are invited to spend a weekend on a private Scottish island, they arrive to discover a shocking secret. Arthur Fletch is dead and his last book is unfinished. Desperate to publish the novel, Fletch's agent and editor have summoned these writers in hope that one of them will imagine a worthy ending for his final book. To sweeten the deal, they are offering an irresistible prize. In addition to ghostwriting the last chapter for a mind-boggling sum, they will also help the lucky writer successfully relaunch their own career, guaranteeing future bestsellers. The catch? The writers have just 72 hours to finish Fletch's magnum opus. Starting is often the hardest part, but getting to the end could be murder. I think this sounds so interesting. I love bookish books. Like, this book's about an author, other authors writing a book. I think this is gonna mess with my head, honestly. And I was just saying, like, sometimes you need something like that. This one I'm also so excited for. This is a YA romantasy that comes out April 14th, The Thorn Queen by Sasha Payton Smith, and this is the sequel to The Rose Bargain. Now, I'm pretty sure The Rose Bargain is just going to be a duology, so I'm very, very excited to finish up this duology, especially, again, like, after a huge cliffhanger ending. The Rose Bargain very much gives, like, The Cruel Prince mixed with Bridgerton, and the selection. It was just so good. I'm not really gonna like talk about this one too much because obviously, like, if you have not read The Rose Bargain, me talking about this one is gonna be a bit of a spoiler, but if you've read The Rose Bargain and are excited for the sequel, go ahead and pause to read. Next, I have The Caretaker by Marcus Cleawer. I'm so sorry, Marcus. This is a horror that comes out April 21st. He is the same author as We Used to Live Here, and I listened to the audiobook of that, I want to say a little over a year ago, and it was so crazy. The audiobook is so creepy. Like, there are creepy little sounds happening, but I listened to it in one sitting. I think I was sick, so I just like turned on an audiobook and just like laid my head down, closed my eyes, and listened to an audiobook the whole day. This is one that I would definitely like buy the physical copy of to reread it, because it is phenomenal. I gave it 4.5 stars, so I'm so excited for another like horror thriller from him. Exciting opportunity. Caretaker urgently needed. 3 days of work. Competitive pay. Serious applicants only. Macy Mullins can't say why the job posting grabbed her attention. It had the pull of a fisherman's lure, barbed hook and all, vaguely ominous. But after an endless string of failed job interviews, she's not exactly in the position to be picky. She has rent to pay, groceries to buy, and a younger sister to provide for. Besides, it's only 3 days' work, 3 days cooped up in a stranger's house, surrounded by Oregon coast wilderness. What starts as a peculiar side gig soon becomes a waking nightmare, An incomprehensible evil may dwell on this property, and Macy Mullins might just be the only thing standing between it and the rest of humanity. I love a good horror once in a while, like a few times a year. I'm saying that's it. I used to grow up like loving horror movies, like Saw, Conjuring, those two for sure. I just loved really any horror movies, but as I get older, honestly, like after I've gotten married, I am way more like touchy to horror. Like, I can't do gore, I can't do anything too scary. I don't know what really changed inside of me. So I don't really watch horror movies that often anymore, and I only will if I'm watching them with my husband, because obviously I need him to protect me. Same with books. Like, horror books I really only read if my husband is home with me, but I love a good horror story once in a while. And like I said, Marcus Clywer is just an extraordinary author. I loved We Used to Live Here. I just love how I said I don't read that many mystery thrillers, and I feel like half of this list has been mystery thrillers today. I'm sorry. I guess there's a lot coming out in 2026 that I am very, very excited for. But this is Unknown Caller by Gillian McAllister, coming out May 5th. I read a book by this author earlier this year. It is Famous Last Words, and I really enjoyed it. You will find that is a common theme with these books. It is usually by authors I have already read and enjoyed, hence why I'm so excited for more books by them. This one says Simone will do anything for her daughter Lucy, but on the first morning of their Texas vacation, Lucy vanishes from their cabin, leaving behind only a phone and a chilling ransom call. Tell no one, come alone, be ready to make a deal. Ignoring her husband's pleas to call the police, Simone meets the kidnapper, only to learn they don't want money. They want her to do something unthinkable. What follows is a harrowing journey across remote Texas as Simone is forced into a chain of events that test her courage, her morality, and the limits of a mother's love. Pretty sure I gave Famous Last Words 4 stars. It honestly read kind of like a literary fiction, but with that mystery thriller element to it. And I just love literary fiction lately, so I think I really just enjoyed how it was written a little bit differently than your typical mystery thriller. Yay, another Carly Fortune book, Our Perfect Storm, also coming out May 5th, and this is her newest contemporary romance. I love this cover. I love all of her covers, but this purple I'm obsessed with. The yellow font on the purple to match the surfboards. Obsessed with. And I'm pretty sure these are like real paintings. She has the paintings commissioned or something and then turns it into her cover. I love that. That is so cool. This one is a friends to lovers. Frankie and George have always been best friends since childhood. Frankie is about to get married, but then her fiance calls things off. But George is like, hey Frankie, let's go on your honeymoon. Let's go together because the honeymoon's already paid for. Let's just take it together. It's giving the Unhoneymooners, but like more serious. I have read, I want to say 3 Carly Fortune books, and I have loved all of them. So I'm very excited to read another Carly Fortune book this summer. May 19th, we have Fever Dream by Elsie Silver coming out. This is her new little series. like interconnected standalone series. Bull rider Emmett Bush isn't looking for love, just a paycheck to save his family's farm. So when he joins the reality dating show Romance Ranch, it's all a performance until Julia Silva arrives. Smart, snarky, and off limits, she's the last woman he should be drawn to. Julia knows better than to fall for Emmett, but working together sparks an undeniable connection and secret moments they can't resist. As Emmett navigates the show to protect his family's legacy, he discovers he's already fallen in love, just not with a contestant. And the name Silva, if you're a fan of Elsie Silver, should raise some alarms. I'm so excited for this book. I definitely liked the Rose Hill series, but not quite as much as some of the books in the Chestnut Springs series. They are all like in the same world, all like little spin-offs of each other. So I'm very excited. Hopefully we see some of Theo Silva pop up in this new book. I honestly did not even know that this book was announced until I was doing research for this video, but Annabelle Monaghan has a new book coming out May 26th, Dolly All the Time. Such a unique title. Dolly Brick has never met a problem she couldn't solve. Not when her mom left when she was 12, and not at 39 when she moves with her son back to Whitfield, Rhode Island for the summer to keep her dad and brother from losing the family home. So when she comes across Stuart Whitfield, knowingly handsome scion of the Whitfield family, with a flat tire and at the wrong end of a very public, very humiliating breakup, it's in her nature to help. Stuart's proposed arrangement ends up being more than either of them bargained for, because as public dinners and high society benefits turn into sunset boat rides and swinging on the porch, Dolly starts to feel something more than helpful. She's never relied on anyone besides herself. Can she really start now? Once again, you need a good Annabelle Monaghan book for the summer. I'm pretty sure I've read all of her books. I enjoy all of them, honestly. We are getting down to the last few books. Light Wielder on June 9th. This is book 2 in the Fire and Metal series by Rachel Schneider. The first book, Metal Slinger, ends on an insane cliffhanger. Like, I think I read Metal Slinger last December and I loved it. It was one of my top books of the year. I want to reread it before book 2 comes out because that cliffhanger, like, I feel like I need to reread it the day before this comes out so that I don't have to like deal with waiting, because I've been waiting for a year now. And the wait is killing me, honestly. Once again, I'm not going to read this summary because it could be spoilers if you have not read Metal Slinger, but I highly recommend it. It is such a good fantasy romance, definitely deserves some more love. June 16th, we have a new Ashley Poston book coming out, The Sunday Garden, and Ashley Poston is the queen of magical realism. Her magical realism romances just hit so hard. One is about Sophie Dreer, heads to coastal Maine for a summer job at Lilymore House, expecting work, but she finds enchantment instead. The gardens, the quirky staff, and an enigmatic owner. When a mysterious door appears, it leads her to a secret garden with a trapped, brooding man inside. As Sophie tends the struggling grounds, she must navigate the manor's eccentric plans, an attractive summer visitor, and the garden's secrets to help Lilymore and herself bloom again. Like, does that not just sound so fun and so summery? Cover is so cute. And lastly, coming out June 30th, we have a YA fantasy romance. This is The River She Became by Emily Varga. I read For She Is Wrath by Emily Varga a few months ago, and while it wasn't like my favorite fantasy book of all time, I did really like Emily Varga's writing. So I'm hoping that I just like this story overall more than For She Is Wrath. A Stolen Relic, an Ancient Crown, a Destiny Written in Magic. By day, Yasmina catalogs Fey relics for the Empire. By night, she reclaims them to restore magic to her dying kingdom. When she discovers the key to the Fey world, a dangerous realm awaits, ruled by monsters, including a cold-eyed captain who has secrets of his own. Together, they must outwit curses, face nightmarish creatures, and find a power that could save or destroy their worlds. But as loyalists blur, the greatest risk may be losing their hearts to each other. I love a Fae fantasy. I'm very easy to please. What can I say? And that is all. hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and have some new books to put on your radar that are coming out in 2026. If you did like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to see more of my content, especially more of my Bookmas content. I will be back in just a few days for Bookmas Day 4. Hopefully I will see you then. Bye!